Good morning. I'm Amy Asin.
And I'm not. Our top story this morning, the URJ Biennial kicked off last night, bringing together Reformed Jews from across our movement, including more than a dozen partners and affiliates, 17 camps, 900 congregations, 1,800 rabbis, and one preacher.
So it makes total sense that the biennial leadership has given us a full 7 minutes to share all of the achievements, activities, and accomplishments since the last biennial.
So let's start with numbers.
Yes! Everything we do is rooted in our sacred texts.
That's true, Amy. But the numbers I was talking about are more like the 10 Juvenation Fellows who've created projects that are contributing to the vibrancy of the Jewish community.
And the 12 communities of practice with 115 participating congregations.
Or the 16 new congregations that have joined the URJ.
Well, isn't that special?
How about the 120 board workshops run by URJ staff and trained lay facilitators?
And 147 URJ community events across 35 URJ communities.
We also have 300 congregations using RJ Web Builder. Their websites look marvelous.
We have 550 clergy and educators serving on faculty in summer programs.
And 3,500 young adults serving as camp or Israel staff.
And one meeting with the Pope.
Amy, do we have any bigger numbers?
10,000.
10,000 what?
10,000 questions and answers from the Knowledge Network. Mark, do you know what the most common question was?
I do not.
How often is the biennial?
I was also thinking about 10,000, Amy. That's the number of users in the tent, more than double since the last biennial.
Our podcasts have been downloaded 250,000 times, and that's not even including Leora Kay's mother downloading them.
That's amazing. I know that I download Stories We Tell every week on my iGod. And our YouTube videos have over 300,000 views.
Here's another big number. 21,000 kids, teens, and young adults engaged in URJ youth programs, plus 22,000 alumni.
Speaking of numbers, we're honored by the generosity of our donors, including the Ruderman Family Foundation, the Heller family, Arthur and Betty Roswell, and the Corrette Foundation.
My friends, it's really been a year. The site of URJ Camp Newman and its Corrette Conference Center was devastated by the Santa Rosa wildfires. Hurricanes and other natural disasters have touched our congregations across North America. Even this week, our LA congregations have been threatened by wildfires. All buildings safe and intact as of this morning, although congregants have lost homes.
We saw terrifying hate and bigotry in Charlottesville, and there were anti-Semitic attacks on our friends, neighbors, and congregations.
But through all of it, we've been there for each other, like with the Green Family Camp's Hurricane Harvey Day Camp, Mitzvah Corps, and the tremendous generosity of our congregations far and wide.
Amy, we forgot to mention that the world almost ended when the moon passed in front of the sun that time in August. But everyone in our New York office had these snazzy glasses from Sci Tech Academy to help us along. Look around this room. We're good at meetings. And over the last 2 years, we did that a lot.
The RAC had its largest ever consultation on conscience in Washington, D.C.
NIFTYites, youth professionals and alumni, gathered in Chicago at the NIFTY convention. It turns out you can hold a major convention in Chicago in the winter.
We had not one, not two, but three shite seminars for congregational presidents.
We went to the Women's March in January and to the Ministers' March for Justice in August.
In Dallas, we joined the protests against the White House's travel ban that largely affects individuals from Muslim-majority countries.
The airport rallies were an amazing outpouring, supporting values of justice and compassion. But we also forged connections even when we weren't physically together.
Like when we launched the 2 online learning series on governance and philanthropy.
And we introduced more people to Judaism through an online Intro to Judaism course.
We produced a couple of inspirational events on Facebook Live called Songs for All of Us.
And we had a few Zoom meetings.
And now, for some more numbers. Kutz Camp celebrated 50 years of training teen leaders. HUCJIR ordained its 100th Israeli rabbi. And the RAC facilitated more than 600 lobby visits.
We've supported over 100 congregations in the rabbinic transition process. We've published 1,200 blog posts on reformjudaism.org and done more than 13,000 hours of professional development for youth workers.
And been featured thousands of times in major media. And we've got 2 new camps.
Can we take a break from the numbers for a minute? I want to take a break and talk about how Rabbi Jacobs met with Pope Francis.
Mark, we've already talked about that.
I know, but it was really awesome. They spent a whole afternoon just roaming around.
Moving on. We launched the Brit Olam, Covenant with Our World, to help congregations commit to moving justice to the center of our work and target issues of profound significance to our movement, like defending immigrants, criminal justice reform, and transgender equality.
And Nifty launched a teen-powered racial justice campaign so teens can activate their congregations to raise awareness around racial justice.
And we as a movement continue our strong legacy of bringing people together, creating inclusive, welcoming entry points into Jewish life, like the Transgender Active Learning Network, Audacious Hospitality Toolkit, and our Youth LGBTQ Leadership Project to make camps and youth programs even more inclusive.
We are also working hard as a movement to urge Congress to pass a Clean Dream Act before 2018.
Mark, Amy, you have 60 seconds.
Quick! Something about a Yam Jam.
Something about Armac.
Something about Bass-O-Matic.
Something about the Kotel.
Something about Gal Gadot.
Something about David Saperstein coming home to roost. Jonah Pesner and David Saperstein, talk about 2 wild and crazy guys.
Something about moving to the leading edge.
Something about meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Something about not meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Something about the more than 50% of our Canadian congregations welcoming refugees.
Something about small congregations.
Something about large congregations.
Something about Mitzvah Corps' new sites.
Something about Jerry Kay's retirement.
Something about PJ Library.
Something about 10 Minutes of Torah. Something about Daryl Messinger.
Well, now let's get serious for a moment. Since the last biennial, we've installed our first female board chair. Everything that we've accomplished since the last biennial has been on Daryl's watch.
She's infused the URJ with her vision, her energy, her strategic thinking, and above all, her passion for Reform Judaism. That passion is a Messinger family tradition. Daryl's father, Marty, inspired a commitment to Jewish life and to philanthropy that defines the family across generations. Marty is here with us today and joins us and all of you in welcoming our chair to the stage.